Hi, boys and girls. I'm coming back to you to continue reading Restart. I'm going to read chapter 17 today, which is titled Joel Weber. To refresh your memory from yesterday, Chase and Shoshana are still working on their interview of Mr. Solway, and they decide to go get frozen yogurt together. And while they're getting frozen yogurt, they bump into Shoshana's mom, who is not happy to see Shoshana with Chase. Shoshana gets in a little bit of trouble for hanging out with Chase as she's trying to explain to her parents that Chase has changed. And then she suggests to her parents that Joel come back home from the boarding school because he's not happy there and Chase has changed and she thinks he'll be more happy at home. The chapter ended, to refresh your memory, with Shoshana texting her brother Joel, we've got to talk. So we're pretty sure she's going to come clean to her brother and let him know that she has been hanging around with Chase and that he's changed. So let's see. Chapter 17 is told by Joel. So we're going to learn a little bit more about Joel. The piano is out of tune. Actually, my whole life is out of tune, but the piano is worse. I couldn't stand Melton, but everything there was always in tune. It had to be. All the kids had perfect pitch. The instruments were maintained at the highest level. Even the wrought iron gate outside the faculty building squeaked a perfect B flat. I have perfect pitch too, so I know. Remember, the boarding school he went to was for music. I'm proof that just being qualified to attend a musical conservatory doesn't mean you should go there. I love the piano, but not enough to care about it the way people do at a school like Melton. I want to use it to make music, not mind meld with it. It's never enough to play an instrument. You have to live it, breathe it, taste it, compose for it, understand it inside and out. You even have to empathize with it like it's another person. Honest. I hated it. I hated living in a dormitory and sharing a bathroom with 11 other guys. I hated my roommate and his violin and his asthma and the whistling sound he made when he slept. D above high C. But what I hated most about Melton, was the reason I had to go there. To be fair, it wasn't Melton's fault that I was forced out of my own home by 3 morons. You know who those 3 morons are? Chase, Aaron, and Bear. Or that even though everyone knew those 3 were juvenile delinquents, I was the one who had to suffer. And now I'm supposed to believe that the leader of the 3 alpha rat is the good guy because he fell on his head? Fine. Whatever gets the job done. I'm home, and out of tune piano is a small price to pay for it. I'm back where I belong. I'm happy. But be careful what you wish for. At Melton, I missed Mitzi so much it was almost a physical pain. Remember, Mitzi is the dog. That dog drives me crazy. I know she's glad to see me, but she won't leave me alone. I'm always covered in dog hair, which makes me sneeze. And when I kick her out of my room, she lies just outside the door, whining. My parents are so guilty and conflicted about what happened that they're smothering me. They wait on me hand and foot like I'm helpless. And while it's great to be back with Shoshana, she's giving me an uneasy feeling. For one thing, she has entirely too much to say about a certain alpha rat. So obviously we're learning that Joel does come home. So Shoshana's parents listened to her and agreed to bring Joel back to their house. Chase thinks Brendan is going to break his neck shooting a YouTube video. Mr. Solway threw jello at Chase for letting him win at arm wrestling. Chase kept the camera steady while Hugo interviewed the school bus driver, even when they went over the railroad tracks. I blow my stack. Chase says, I mimic savagely. Chase has said enough for one lifetime. So is Joel happy that his sister Shoshana is getting closer to Chase? It doesn't seem like that to me. He seems very angry and very bitter that all Shoshana talks about is Chase. Shoshana's patient and understanding. That's another annoying thing. Why does everyone have to be so patient and understanding? One of the perks of living at home should be arguing with your family. Wait till you see him at school on Monday. You won't believe how different he is. I don't care how different Chase is, I say honestly. I don't plan to have anything to do with the guy. But you're going to have to deal with him sooner or later, she reasons. You're coming back to video club, right? Chase is part of that now. Good for him. Her expression turns sympathetic. I get it. You're nervous. Well, obviously I'm nervous. I haven't set foot in that school for months. And my memories from then are not good. There's something about being bullied that you can never explain to someone who hasn't had it happen to them. It's worse than the sum of the rotten things that are done to you. Even when no one is bothering you, you're still under attack because you're dreading the next strike. And you know it can come from anywhere at any time. You get so paranoid that with every single step, you're half expecting the floor to yawn open and swallow you whole. It got to the point where the only place I felt safe was at the piano. Until the night the piano blew up in my face and there was no safe place anywhere. That was my all-time low, and I forgive Mom and Dad for deciding Melton was the answer. I'm a little better now, but only because Melton was so lousy that even coming back to this is an improvement. When a bunch of jerks see you as a victim, that's on them. But when it goes on so long that it's how you see yourself, it's very hard to climb out of that hole. The hole seems deeper on Monday morning when Shasha and I get out of the car and Hiawassee Middle School is right there. I know bricks and concrete are incapable of evil intent, but I can't shake the feeling that the building itself is out to get me. Dr. Fitzwallace, remember the principal, reached out to my parents last week. He offered to meet with me this morning before homeroom. I said no. I just print my class schedule at home. I think he wants to reassure me that he has my back. Big deal. He had my back before, and what good did it do? Short of a Secret Service bodyguard, there's no way to protect anyone 100%. Sooner or later, you're always going to end up in a lonely hallway or a deserted locker room. Shoshana rounds on me. You ready for this? I'm not ready, but I nod. Then we're in, surrounded by all those kids. I forgot the thrum of a school this big, a chaotic buzz of sounds. Too many to assign a single note to, or even a whole chord. A handful of faces turn my way, registering surprise at my return. I hear the occasional whisper, "It's him," or "Joel's back," or, the guys whose piano exploded. I catch a couple of kind-hearted looks, and even a hostile one from a big kid who must be a football player. Mostly, though, nobody sees me at all. Or worse, they never even noticed I was gone. I think that makes me madder than anything else. I went through the worst part of my life, was bullied so badly I had to leave town, and it never popped onto most people's radar screens. That balcony from guidance counselors about how we're supposed to be a community? Yeah, right. This is how bullies like Chase Ambrose get away with what they do, because their victims are invisible. Speaking of bodyguards, Shosh thinks she's mine because she stays glued to my side. Add that to a list of humiliations that doesn't need padding. My sister is convinced she has to fight my battles for me. Don't you have to get to homeroom? I ask her, fighting to keep exasperation out of my voice. Oh, I figured I'd stay with you, just for today. I haven't seen Mr. O'Tootle in a while. I interrupt her. Go away, Shash. She looks worried. Are you sure? No, I reply honestly, but you can't hang on me forever. What happens when I have to go to the bathroom? Well, I figured I could just wait outside for you. Go away, I repeat. Classes are okay, I guess, no different than Melton. Math is math, regardless of whether or not you're learning it from a world-class French horn player. A few kids ask where I've been. Those who have questions about what boarding school is like. Brendan Espinoza updates me on his YouTube career, and I congratulate him on his Leaf Man video, which is up to over 4,000 views. Not exactly viral yet, but his biggest audience so far. He tells me about Video Club. Kimberly Tooley is a member, although she never struck me as the type. He talks about her a lot, so I suspect he has some kind of crush going on. The biggest news is your sister's entry for the National Video Journalism Contest, Brennan enthuses. We've been screening the footage, and it's awesome. They're just doing the editing now. Shoshana and... He falls silent. Yeah, I know who her partner is. Joel, you're not going to believe how different he is. It's like he split open his head when he fell off the roof and they put in a new brain. So I've heard. Bad enough I have to listen to Shash singing Alpha Rat's praises. It never occurred to me that the entire video club would turn out to be fans too. I passed by Chase in the hall once, and the sight of his face nearly makes me jump out of my skin. But here's the thing. He looks right through me like I'm not even there. Maybe he really does have amnesia and doesn't recognize me. Well, I recognize him. He's the jerk who did his best to ruin my life last year. I have no choice but to run into Beta and Gamma Rats. They're in my Spanish class, 7th period. Look who came crawling home to Mommy, Bear sneers at me. I'm paralyzed. It's worse than my near miss with Chase in the hall, because it proves that nothing has really changed. Are these my only two choices? This school or Melton? Aaron grabs Bear's arm and drags him to a seat in the back row. Leave it alone, man. You want to get in even more trouble thanks to this loser? Those two are doing community service over the cherry bombs and the piano. Maybe that'll buy me a little peace. What I dread the most is the part I used to look forward to. Video Club. When I was at Melton, I practically ached for it. It was the symbol of everything I was missing out on because I'd been exiled. But now all I can think of is that I'm going to come face to face with him. When I get to Miss DeLeo's room, the lights are out and all eyes are on the smartboard. I assume that this is my sister's famous video project. And the old guy on the screen is that Mr. Solway I've heard so much about. He's describing a scene from the war, and everybody is completely enthralled. Miss DeLeo notices me first and pauses the video. She comes over to the doorway to greet me. Joel, it's so good to have you back. They crowd around me, all the members. There are a couple new faces like Kimberly, but most of them are all our old friends. It's a nice welcome. I can't enjoy it though because I know he's there, hanging back, waiting his turn. Shoshana performs a formal introduction like I don't know the guy who turned my life into a horror show. But of course, it isn't for me. It's for him. Chase, I don't think you remember my brother Joel. He looks 10 times more miserable than he ever made me. I don't even know what to say to you, he begins in a voice I barely recognize as his arrogant alpha rat bravado. I have no memory of any of the things I have done to you, and I can't undo any of them. But I want to tell you that I'm really, really sorry. Up until this point, I had no idea how I'd react to meeting Chase Ambrose again after all these months. Now I know. I completely believe that he has amnesia and can't recall the stuff that happened between us. I believe that he's changed and that he honestly regrets what he did to me. And I know something else. It doesn't make any difference. None, zero zilch. I still hate his guts. So Joel obviously is not as forgiving. He was completely tortured by Chase, and I think it's going to definitely take him some more time before maybe he considers forgiving him. Hope you enjoyed that chapter. Don't forget to answer the comprehension questions, and I will see you guys soon. I know we don't have much more time together, so I'll have to figure out. I don't think there's going to be any way I'm going to finish this book during school, but we'll have to figure out if some of you want me to keep reading. I will. I know it won't be classwork and there won't be any comprehension questions, but if some of you really want to hear the rest of the book, we can figure something out. Hope you have a great day, and I will see you again soon. Bye.